Here are the most interesting ways people hide things. Number 10. Stuffed animals. Stuffed toys and real animals are basically the same thing, right? At least that's what our parents used to tell us when we were nagging them for a dog. Apparently, that's what this lady thought too. Airport security officials in Bangkok detected something suspicious in an oversized suitcase. The scan indicated that along with stuffed animals, this lady's suitcase also somehow had bones somewhere. When they opened the suitcase for inspection, the team of investigators found something I guess no one expected. The bones belonged to a tranquilized 2-month-old tiger. A live tiger cub was hidden in the suitcase along with some stuffed toys. I mean, wouldn't it have been smarter to pretend the tiger cub was an exotic cat with some fake papers? The suitcase, which had been checked by a 31-year-old Thai woman, was en route to Iran for who knows what. The tiger cub ended up under the protection of Thailand's Department of National Parks, Wildlife, and Plant Conservation. Number 9. The Lizard Menagerie. In 2010, a German man was arrested as he tried to hop on a flight from New Zealand when officials discovered a small, let's just call it menagerie, of rare lizards hidden in his underwear. This is the perfect moment to use the word menagerie in real life. Anyways, they found 44 lizards in this dude's underwear. Apparently, this guy admitted for being a dealer of endangered animals and pled guilty in court to charges of trading exploited species and hunting protected wildlife. So, how did this guy manage to have a menagerie of lizards? He had altered his underwear with 8 hand-sewn compartments in order to carry geckos and skinks around. One last lizard, the luckiest of them all probably, depending on the way you look at things, was later found hidden inside the man's suitcase. According to the prosecutor working on the case, each gecko has a street value of approximately $1,500 in Europe, while the value of skinks was unknown. Number 8. Just be a hill, bro. Blending in with the environment is another way of hiding. The Rice Northwest Museum of Rocks and Minerals in Oregon contains lots of rocks and minerals. Oh, and I quote, gold specimen bigger than your hand, which is what made the museum particularly interesting to Gregory Liascos. Liascos' master plan was to gradually chip a hole through the wall of the museum to get the gold inside, but the museum's caretaker noticed an unusual amount of dust buildup over a period of several days. Following the dust trail to an elevator shaft behind the bathroom, the caretaker discovered a suspicious lack of a wall. The caretaker alerted the police, and they set up surveillance equipment at the museum. When alarms went off the following day, the police stormed the museum and found a bike, a backpack, but no sign of anyone. But luckily, the police had brought along a tracking dog. The dog led its handler to a wooded area near the museum where it suddenly started biting the ground. Since the officers did a closer inspection, they found out that the dog wasn't biting the ground at all. It was Liascos disguised as, Hill. Liascos told police he got into a fight with his girlfriend and wound up at the museum. He told investigators he wanted to try out his ghillie suit, which is this type of camouflage clothing designed to resemble the background environment. I'm still trying to understand the angry girlfriend angle. Anyways, police didn't believe his story, and Liascos is now known as the Moss Man. He was sentenced to 16 months in prison after admitting to breaking into the museum. Number 7. The good old apron skirt. Aprons with pockets are pretty handy. In the kitchen and around the house, that is. In 2005, customs officials in Australia stopped a woman flying in from Singapore as she arrived in Melbourne. Sharon Naismith was found with 51 live tropical fish allegedly hidden in a specifically designed apron under her skirt. Apparently they heard flipping noises coming from her waist. That's gotta be a funny feeling. Customs officers found 15 plastic, water-filled bags holding fish, concealed in a custom-made apron. Introducing alien species of fish into a new environment is a risk as these fish may introduce diseases which could decimate Australian fish if they escaped into local rivers. Customs officers found that one of the fish was an Asian arowana, which is an endangered species of fish that could fetch prices up to $300,000. The other fish were just catfish, but maybe they were decoys? Naismith ended up being sentenced to only 9 months of community service. You could probably say there was something fishy about the way she walked into the airport. Number 6, throw them that curveball. So what are some actually good places around the house to hide some stuff? Whether it's an empty shampoo bottle or a spice jar, a lot of these things are everyday items a burglar in a big hurry isn't going to give a second glance. If you're using a shampoo or conditioner bottle, obviously make sure to clean it out thoroughly before adding your valuables. You You can also wrap them in plastic wrap or place them in a Ziploc bag before putting them in the bottle. Or if you reuse a spice jar, you can coat the inside with glue and add some real spices or herbs, again to coat the inside of the jar to give them the appearance that it's full. Or you can just hide some stuff sealed in a plastic bag and actual herbs and spices. Your call. Another place where most burglars in a hurry won't bother to look unless they really have the time to go through everything is tampon boxes or feminine products. Just make sure the box is full of actual products and tuck it in whatever you want to hide in the middle. Number 5. Shape it like a carrot. You would doubt whether a carrot is really a carrot. Well, when you're a U.S. Customs and Border Protection agent, you'd be one of those people who are constantly asking these questions. Back in January 2016, agents discovered $500,000 worth of pot disguised as carrots on the Far Reynosa International Bridge, which connects the Mexican-U.S. border near McAllen, Texas. The agents first searched the vehicle carrying the commercial shipments of carrots by using non-intrusive imaging technology, and then took a second look with trained canines. Almost 3,000 carrot-shaped packages were discovered mixed in with real carrots. Officers were able to fill up the beds of 2 pickup trucks with the seized shipment. This actually wasn't the first time carrots were used in drug smuggling attempt. Just a few months earlier, agents at the same checkpoint seized almost $2 million worth of drugs found in packages of fresh cucumbers and carrots. Number 4. Stuffed Animals, Part 2. A man and his 4-year-old son were headed to Detroit when a TSA officer found a few disassembled gun components, quote, artfully concealed inside 3 stuffed animals. The stuffed animals, including a teddy bear and a rabbit, were inside a child's carry-on bag. The man traveling with his 4-year-old son claims he had no idea that the 3 stuffed animals his little boy had put on the conveyor belt contained parts that could be assembled into a fully functioning, loaded gun. A .40 caliber gun was found inside one animal, while a magazine loaded with 2 .40 caliber rounds and a firing pin were found inside a second stuffed animal. Another part of the gun, known as the slide, was found inside the third animal. Later on, it was determined that the whole thing was a result of domestic dispute somehow. Did his ex-wife prank him? Since the man didn't pose any threat to air safety, the man and his son were allowed to continue with their flight. Of course, after the gun was confiscated. Number 3. Flask for all occasions. Apparently, hiding booze in your umbrella is a thing nowadays, which is probably handy to use whenever you want to go to a sporting event. You can find these umbrellas in a variety of prices, going from $10 all the way to a few hundred. Most of these items aren't actual umbrellas, and they only made to look like an umbrella. In fact, they're bottles that can hold up to quite a few drinks inside. The most luxurious option out there is the Brig Malacca Flask Umbrella. This quirky and luxurious Brig umbrella design features a Malacca cane 2-piece handle with a fitted drink flask. The Flask umbrella features a glass drinking tube that unscrews from the handle and is priced at £770. Oh! Monogram fans can add a silver or gold-plated collar around the handle engraved with their initials for an extra £30. I mean, if you're going to splurge anyway, why not go all the way? Did I mention the silk canopy option for the additional £330? I bet this thing is especially useful on those really rough days at the office when you want to drown your misery in alcohol but still keep your dignity. Number 2. Between the what? A 30-year-old woman faced multiple charges after allegedly trying to smuggle drugs into jail, basically in her rear end. Although it seems sort of unintentional, even if that's one of the charges. Summer Adamson of Bonita Springs was arrested after deputies pulled her over near Bayshore Drive because she allegedly broke someone's car window. While searching her car, deputies found some drugs in her Jeep. Naturally, she was arrested and taken to the Naples Jail Center for booking. While being searched before admitted, cops say Adamson reached into her butt and pulled out a small bag of drugs. Unfortunately, that wasn't the worst part for the cops. Or for us. In an effort to get rid of the evidence, Adamson then placed the entire bag and all, in her mouth and began to chew. I mean, if it's gonna be in your body, why not just let it stay in one place? And that's how Adamson got that charge on her record. Like I said, unintentionally. Number 1. The old-fashioned safe. Okay, but what about an actual safe, along with some disguise? There's a safe made from an actual Pringles can. The factory sealed top even has a layer of chips, so it looks even more realistic. Or you could get a lettuce safe. Someone actually thought of making a safe that looks like an iceberg lettuce so you can keep your most valuable small items inside your fridge. How about a safe that's straight out of a movie? There's the hidden wall outlet safe, which is a non-functioning outlet with a hidden compartment for valuables. It just needs to be pinned on the wall, and it's perfect for hiding jewelry, cash, and more. Or if you're rich like Mayweather and you need to stash some cash and jewelry in your house, you'll probably just want to hire a professional to come in and do a custom job. Here's what's next.
Well, there are Chinese entrepreneurs who somehow ground up aborted babies to sell as energy boosters. That's just completely disgusting. Apparently, there's a huge demand for alternative Chinese remedies in South Korea.